Yeah, exactly. I don't know. I did a lot of work yesterday and it was good.
Good evening, board members and residents. I'd like to call to order our regular board meeting and public hearing for Monday, June 10, 2013. With us today is Mr. Daniel Kowalski, and he is a Star Scout, and he's going to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thanks to Daniel. He's working on a badge to learn about the operations of government, so he's here to observe us and has a packed house today, so that's good. Next would be the roll call. Mr. Witt?
Yes, Mr. Brado,
Here.
Mr. Capral,
Here.
Mr. Swikowski.
Here.
Mr. Tominello.
Here.
Mr. York,
Here.
Mr. Witt here, Mr. Verkest.
Here. Thank you. Next on the agenda is the approval of the consent agenda, including the approval of the regular board meeting minutes from May 28th, 2013, approval of the bills in the amount of $671,115.34, approval of the Michigan Townships Association annual dues for fiscal year 2012-13 in the amount of $5,464, and approval of the invoice with Gabriel Roeder Smith in the amount of $9,500 to approve the actuarial evaluation for retiree health care fund for the year ending December 31, 2011.
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Support.
We've got a motion by Mr. York with support by Mr. Swikowski. Any discussion, board members? Hearing none and seeing no public comment, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Next is the approval of the regular agenda. I did not hear any changes to the agenda.
Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion to approve the regular agenda as written. Support.
All right, we've got a motion by Mr. Tominello with support by Mr. York to approve the regular agenda as presented. Any discussion, board members? Hearing none and seeing no public comment, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Next is announcements. I've got a few announcements. Sprint and Splash will be taking place at Lake St. Clair Metro Park on this Saturday, June 15th at 8 a.m. It has a 5K run and a 2-mile kayak race, along with a family-friendly 5K fun run and a stand-up paddle boarding competition. You can find out more at sprintandsplash.com. Lake St. Clair Metro Park is also hosting Kite Fest. This event will include kite demonstrations, choreographed to music, featuring the Detroit Windjammers, the Blues Brothers Pairs team, and an on-site kite store. Stop by for some great family fun on the beach Saturday, June 22nd from 11 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. For more information, you can call the Metro Parks, you can visit their website, or of course you can visit our website also. The number to the beach, 463-4581. Harrison Township Public Library is pleased to present the Sheriff of Macomb County, Anthony Wickersham. Sheriff Wickersham will be speaking on the topic of senior safety on Thursday, June 27th at 7 p.m. at the library. The discussion will include such topics as the dangers of identity theft, scam artists, and precautions so that we could protect our homes when we're at home as well as away. Everyone is welcome. Registration is required either in person, by phone, or by email at the library. The number, 586-329-1261, or librarian at htplib And again, there's information on our website. Speaking of our website, we would like to continue to improve our website, and you can help. If you have any photos of the township that you believe would be an attractive addition to our website, please email them to our deputy supervisor at adymczYK@harrison-township.org. We're looking for photos of landmarks in the township. We had two events this Saturday, and I see the first one will recognize the leader of our historical commission to speak about that.
My name is Linda Karcheski, and I'm chairperson of Harrison Township Historic Commission. And we'd like to thank all the board members that came to our grand opening, Mr. Supervisor, and all the people from the town and outside the town that came. We also would like to thank the fire department and the International Association of Firefighters, Local 1737, and a special thanks to Ben,
Buongiorno.
that's it. I knew I was going to do that. For building our back porch and stairs. Also to Thomas Payne and Ed Trombley, Robert Andrews, and Janet Adamski. And a generous monetary gift from the estate of Mary Jane Better, which helped us to finish our museum so we can have an open house. And we are open every Wednesday evening from 6 to 9 o'clock and by special appointment. And all they have to call is call me at 463-1754. And again, I want to thank everybody. And we're still looking for uniforms for the Coast Guard and the Navy. Doesn't matter what war, scrimmage, whatever they call it nowadays. We appreciate any uniforms that we can get, or if you have old pictures. And it was really nice. We met a young lady that came in there. She was a Tucker, and she was surprised to find out about William Tucker. If we had a founding father, that would have been him, because he was the first white man here. And so it gave her something to look. She wanted to see if that was her great-great-great-great-grandfather. So it was really nice to see all the people that came out. And again, we'd like to thank everybody.
Well,
Thank you.
certainly thank you. It was a great event. Lots of good snacks there, but really especially a lot of great information.
Yes.
I think for certain, my favorite part had to be only one book was in the library that was a yearbook. And in fact, it was the yearbook of when our clerk graduated from high school.
You never feel older than when your yearbook's in a museum.
Yeah.
Yes,
It's a milestone.
It was really nice to have that yearbook, but we'd like to have other yearbooks too, because what happens is that we have pictures of children that went to school 50 years ago. And we have pictures, but we don't have no names to go with them because they didn't put names with those pictures. And one of the other things that we found through my different investigation is that at Jefferson School in 1965, I believe it was, they had put out they had a newsletter. And it was really nice. There's articles by the children back then, which I know are all growing now. It'd be nice to find out who these names go with those. So if anybody's interested in coming and seeing us, just give us a call.
Excellent.
you.
Thank you very much. We also had another event with the Parks and Rec Department. Mr. Caprell?
Yes, we had our 9th annual fishing derby was held this Saturday. The turnout for fishermen was kind of low, but we're working on that next year. We're going to see if we can somehow boost the attendance of the derby. But I'd like to send out a special thanks to some fellow board members and deputies, Larry Tominello, Jack Swatowski, Adam Witt, and Jared Maynard for coming out and measuring fish and just supporting the event. I do appreciate that. Also like to thank our sponsors, which were Buscemi's Party Shop on South River Road, Lori's Lick 'em Up, Frosty Boy, and both Carlos Pizza locations, the one on South River Road and the one on Jefferson. Thank you for your support and gift donations. We do appreciate it. And also, lastly, I'd like to thank all the Parks and Rec members that were there. Mark Nowinski, Mark Sinkowski, our fishing specialist, Dick Going. who has been instrumental in the fishing derby, and Chris Drude, and thanks to everybody that participated. Thanks.
Thank you. Another good event, driven by volunteers and generous sponsors. And speaking of volunteers, another thanks needs to go out to our Beautification Commission. The Veterans Garden and Memorial right outside the doors here has been recently planted. The Water and Sewer Department did help with the removal of some overgrown vegetation, but a lot of volunteer work and a lot of volunteer, donations that funded the plantings, and they've really done a beautiful job. So on the way out today, take a moment to take a look and see the beautiful work that our volunteers and the Beautification Commission have done. Are there any other announcements? Hearing none, our next item on the agenda, item B from the Fire Department. We've got some Fire Department awards. I don't know if we want to let the chief, or Chief Lopez?
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor, and good evening, board members. Back in 2006, Fire Chief Carl Seitz moved forward with the idea of forming a community emergency response team for Harrison Township. And this evening, we would like to recognize those members of our CERT program who have been with us since its inception, and they continue to this day to actively contribute their time and efforts towards making our community safer. And at this time, I'd like all the CERT members who are here in the audience, if you could please step forward to the front here.
Yeah, we'll come up to
right
the-
along. And I'll turn the floor over to Township Clerk to read the resolutions.
At a regular board meeting of the Board of Trustees for the Charter Township of Harrison on Monday, June 10th, 2013, the following resolution was adopted. Whereas Barbara Bashara has given distinguished service to Harrison Township, and whereas Barbara Bashara volunteered her time to serve as a member of the Citizens Emergency Response Team since its inception, beginning her service in September of 2002, and whereas Barbara Bashara has taken the time and opportunity to make herself familiar with the Charter Township of Harrison Fire Department and the rules governing the Citizen Emergency Response Team, and whereas Barbara Bashara has shown herself to be an excellent representative of the local community through her commitment and service as an active member of the Citizens Emergency Response Team, and now therefore be it resolved that on behalf of the residents of the Charter Township of Harrison, the Board of Trustees wishes to thank Barbara Bashara for her service to the community and wish her long life and happiness. Do you want to make a motion on
Sure.
these in a row?
Sure. Yep. Is there a motion?
Move to accept the resolution as presented.
Support?
All right, we've got a motion by Mr. Swaykowski with support by Mr. York to adopt the resolution. Discussion, board members? Hearing none and seeing no public comment, Mr. Witt, will you please take a roll call?
Yes, Mr. Swayowski,
Yes.
Mr. York,
Yes.
Mr. Brado,
Yes.
Mr. Capro,
Yes.
Mr. Tominello,
Yes.
Mr. Witt, yes, Mr. Verkest.
Yes,
Resolution carries.
resolution passes.
Did you want to pull up and see? Hand them out.
All right, what would be the best way to proceed, Mr. Witt?
I can keep reading them then.
Well, it's
They're all the same.
They're all the same? Well, how about if we might go through a list of the names that we all want to recognize, and although we let the lady go first, hopefully you gentlemen won't mind if we don't read each individual resolution each time. Okay.
The first is for Mr. Ronald Legaki. The next is for Mr. Steve Bashara. The next is for Mr. Richard Vandekar and Mr. Steve Alphas, Mr. Nicholas Schukard, Shoe chair. Sorry. Mr. Mark Wisniewski, Mr. William Hook, Mr. David Caldwell, and Mr. Kurt Wanega. I guess you can just.
Is that a motion?
All right,
Yeah.
well, so I think it would be acceptable this time to make a motion to adopt all of those resolutions.
Yeah, that's fine.
Is there someone willing to make that motion?
So moved. Support?
All right, we've got a motion by Mr. York with support by Mr. Tominello to adopt the resolutions as presented for the gentleman that Mr. Witt read off. Mr. Witt, will you please take a roll call vote?
Yes, Mr. York,
Yes.
Mr. Tominello.
Yes.
Mr. Brado,
Yes.
Mr. Capral,
Yes.
Mr. Swakowski,
Yes.
Mr. Witt, yes, Mr. Verkowski.
Yes.
Resolution carries.
All right, great. Sure, absolutely, yeah.
Again, good evening, Board. I am Ron Legaki. I'm one of the coordinators for the CERT team for the township, along with Steve. We kind of tag team together here and keep the team going in a positive direction. We do meet with our fire chief and our liaison, Jack Pellegrino, one of the firefighters, to discuss some of the events that we're going to be planning through the course of the year. These team members here are usually at the team leader capacity. They fill in when called upon, nearly 100% of the time since 2006, for many events that happen here in the township and at the county level. Just to read a quick list of what type of involvement, or what they've been involved with, I should say. They had the incident commander system, the Harrison Township point of distribution for disasters, CERT, Refreshing First Aid, the St. Hubert Crest, the St. Hubert Festival, the half marathon, the Run Like a Mother 10K, the Harrison Township Fire Department, the hayride, and they also do some evacuation planning for sheltering. All of these members have also certified with the County Emergency Management to serve as disaster assessment community team members, and also serve in other areas such as the Macomb County Health Department's Medical Reserve Corps and Volunteers and Police Services, and others. We did, last year, if I may quickly, we did meet and we did conduct some what is known as search and rescue, search and recovery training at the senior center in October. It was a nighttime drill, and it lasted approximately 4 hours. These team members, along with Warren, Sterling Heights, just to name a few, got together as approximately 80 members. And we simulated some lost children, adults in the wooded area, and they conducted a nighttime search and rescue, of course overseen by our fire chief and our liaison, firefighter Jack Pellegrino, and it worked out super. We also were called upon, having that little bit of expertise, we were called upon this early spring by Canton Township's Emergency Management to assist in an actual missing person. This missing person was missing for 3 years, or excuse me, 3 months, in a wooded area. This team these members, along with members, at least 80 to 100 other members from other CERT teams, did get together, and they did conduct a search for a search and participate in the search and recovery. Unfortunately, they didn't find the person. However, that person was found about a month later in that area. So, I mean, that's just the type of expertise they have. I would like to invite the board to come out June 16th for a Macomb County Health Department drill. It is a bioterrorism. These members here will be taking the lead role. This is a huge drill. They will be taking a lot of responsibility on for the health department. That'll run from 8 to approximately 12:30 on the 19th. You can contact the fire chief for any further details on that as far as the location. I should say it will be held at the Macomb County Community College, but he will have the other information for that. They will be taking, again, the lead role in some very critical areas, mainly the logistics, security, all the way up to the pod manager, point of dispensement for this drill. So they will be teaming together with the health department for this, but that is the type of commitment they have. They've all taken numerous classes online through FEMA and the Emergency Management Institute, and they continue to progress in a positive way for the community. That is the whole intent, starting at home, within the community, to assist first responders in the event of a natural disaster or man-made disaster. If there's anybody that is interested in becoming a CERT member, I would like to give a phone number out. That is 466-1450. That is to the fire department. I believe Kelly has a list going, ongoing list. We're looking at all that training being taken over at the fire academy. It's 20 to 24 hours of training. From there, they will become CERT members and basically participate in what you're able to do, basically. So it's, even if you have special needs, whatever the case is, we always try to find something for everybody. Nobody's turned away from it. Thank you.
What was the date of that drill you had
The
mentioned?
drill is the 19th of
19th.
June.
Okay.
All right, excellent. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for your service to the community.
Thank you for volunteering.
All right, and then next, I know Chief Lopez has some additional awards that he'd like to award, so we'll move right into that.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. And again, I would just like to thank all the members of our CERT team. They do a fantastic job, and we are always looking for new members from the community. So please contact the fire department if you are interested. At this time, I'd like to ask if Mr. Aaron Szymanski or Mr. Eric Sinning is in the audience tonight. If you could come forward. Eric? Yes. Board members, I'd like to introduce Mr. Eric Sinning from Michigan Marine Salvage, and he was recommended for this award by Battalion Chief Andy Hood. He and his partner, Aaron Szymanski, were working with Michigan Marine Salvage this past winter, and they had just gotten off the ice doing related work, and they heard cries for help coming from the lake. And without hesitation, they immediately got onto their airboat and went out looking for the person in distress. And as it was reported to me, the person was about 2,000 yards offshore, quite a ways out, and had been out there in the water for some time, breaking through the ice, unable to self-rescue. And at the time that these gentlemen found him, this person was in extreme peril and just about ready to collapse and go underwater. And they, without hesitation, pulled this person out. And as it was reported to me by Battalion Chief Hood, they're given the condition and the amount of time this person was in the water, had they not been there to effect this rescue, by the time that someone called 911 and the fire department was able to travel that far out into the lake, or the Coast Guard for that matter, to launch a helicopter, this person would not have survived. So they are directly responsible for the survival of this individual, and it's my great pleasure to award them this life-saving award. So congratulations.
Doing my job. This is a great award. You know, I'm glad I was able to save somebody and help that gentleman out. Glad I was there.
So are we. Thank you. I bet you he is too.
There's Aaron's. Thank you very much. And board members, at this time, I'd like to also acknowledge three firefighters, one of whom is here tonight. The other two couldn't be here, but if I could call up firefighter Nick Roberts. And Firefighter Roberts, along with his partner on this date, was firefighter Matt Sarr, and they are both being recognized with life-saving awards from the Harrison Township Fire Department for their efforts several months ago on a very challenging EMS call. This was an individual who had a very serious, life-threatening, traumatic injury, and firefighters Sarr and Roberts were on the ambulance crew for that call. And due to their fine work and their pre-hospital trauma life support training, they were able to render the appropriate aid to this individual, and their efforts contributed to his survival. And he is recovered and doing well as a result of their care and also the fine care he received at the hospital. And Firefighter Roberts and Firefighter Sarr were nominated for this award by their supervisor on the call. That was Sergeant Chris Sion. So, Nick, congratulations on a job well done.
If I could just say a couple words. I'm only one member of this fire department. There's 26 other guys that would have been standing here if it would have been their call. We're all trained equally. We all dedicate our lives to this job, whether or not the public sees it. But I would just like to thank all the other members of this firefighters union for helping me along with the chief here with our training and giving us the opportunity to save somebody's life day to day. So, thank you.
Thank you.
And board members, again, firefighter Matt Sarr also received a life-saving award for this call. And then I would also like to recognize firefighter Matthew Zarnicki, who received Chief's Letter of Merit for his efforts. As you know, we've recently, thanks to the Board of Trustees, purchased a new ambulance, and firefighter Zarnicki's work towards that is very appreciated. He put in hours and hours of time getting specifications and doing his research and everything so that we could buy the best vehicle at the best price for Harrison Township. And so he's also being recognized but couldn't be here tonight. So thank you to those two gentlemen. If we give them a round of applause. And last but not least, I would like to, if I could please call up to the podium our representatives from the Knights of Columbus, Mr. Abercrombie. Please. One of the programs that the fire department is very proud of is our File of Life program, and it's primarily designed for senior citizens, but really anyone that has medical history or medications can participate in the program. And the way the File of Life works is we have these red packets that have a magnet on the back, and they're a refrigerator magnet. And in them, we have a handout that the residents could fill out their medical history, pertinent medical information, medications, allergies, any emergency contacts, special instructions. And in the event of any kind of a medical emergency, the fire department is trained to look for File of Life magnets on refrigerators, or the individual can inform the firefighters that they have the File of Life, and it makes our job much easier, and it also helps in patient care, knowing what medical history an individual has and what medications and allergies. But the program isn't free, and the refrigerator magnets aren't free. And we had completely run out of them at the fire department, and we were looking for a way of purchasing a bulk amount of them to distribute to the community. And the Knights of Columbus graciously stepped forward and donated the funds to purchase 500 of the File of Life refrigerator magnets. And so we have a large case of them now on hand at the fire department so that we can distribute them. And it is just another example of the great work that the Knights of Columbus do for the community. And I would like to take this opportunity on behalf of the Harrison Township Fire Department to thank them for this, as well as all the other work that they do in Harrison Township. So thank you very much.
Chief, Because I think for some of the folks that may see the meeting or could be watching at home, that may be interested in that File of Life program, maybe you can tell a little more about how should they go about acquiring those if they would like to have them at their home?
Absolutely. If anyone is interested in the File of Life program, please contact the fire department. Our telephone number is 586-466-1450, and you can speak to Kelly, and we'd be happy to get these out to you, or you could stop by one of your fire stations, and we will have them on hand to distribute there as well. And in addition, for another program that we have ongoing as well, if anyone is interested, is our residential lockbox program. So for people who may have disabilities or in the event of a fall or some medical emergency where they couldn't get to the door, if there were concerns, we do have a residential lockbox program as well that could work hand in hand with this, that we're happy to give them information on that program as well.
Excellent. All right,
Thank you
great,
very much.
Great, thank you. Thanks to you and to all of the folks in your department that do the work that keep us all here in Harrison Township safe. All right, the next on our agenda is item C regarding the special assessment districts. Mr. Witt?
At our last meeting, we adopted resolutions number 1 and number 2 for a special assessment district for the Siesta Park, Sunnybrook Park, and Fresh Air Park Canal project. The resolutions directed us to hold a public hearing today and to have the engineer prepare plans for the removal of sediment from the canals. Residents were noticed of the public hearing. So at this time, I guess I'd be making a motion to open the public hearing. And just so residents know, if you'd like to speak at this, please come up and use the on-deck chairs, and there's 3 minutes for individuals, so.
All right, so you're making a motion to open the public hearing for number 1.
Yep.
Correct? Got a motion by Mr. Witt, support by Mr. Caprell, to open the public hearing number 1 at 7:32. Is there discussion, board members? Hearing none and seeing no public comment, Mr. Witt, will you please take a roll call?
Yes, Mr. Witt. Yes, Mr. Caprell.
Yes.
Mr. Brado.
Yes.
Mr. Swikowski.
Yes.
Mr. Tominello.
Yes.
Mr. York.
Yes.
Mr. Verkest.
Yes. All right, so the public hearing is open. Any residents or anyone in the audience who would like to address the board regarding this issue, now would be the time to do so.
Just kind of waiting for some opposition, but seeing that there is none, I guess I'll just describe the project a little bit and
All right.
just clarify a couple things.
Could you identify yourself?
My name is Chris Tremberth.
Okay.
I'm, at the time, I was the president of the Sunnybrook Association when this started happening.
All right.
We contacted single source contractor, being the only one we could find and associated with this project. And we, with the help of many residents, got the petitions going, got the signatures from the residents. I do see in the minutes that it says we only got 56%, but there was some kind of problem verifying a lot of signatures. We did, the way we calculated, we got over 77% of the signatures. There was a lot of support for this project, which is not common for this association or any associations really in the neighborhood. We've always struggled even to get weed collection and things like that of smaller nature. So we were pretty happy with the support that we got. If you guys were interested, I color-coded a chart, which we used to, all the greens were yeses, all the oranges were no's, and the white ones were just people we couldn't track down, people in Florida, people out of state, some bank-owned homes, things of that nature. We were surprised to even get the rental houses, a lot of the landlords signed, just a lot of support for the project. We haven't found any problems with it yet. We're pretty excited about it, looking to get started as soon as possible.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Any questions?
Well, I was just gonna say, I know we did, we during this time, we don't interact, but for the record, we did acknowledge at our last meeting that we knew there were more signatures, but the standard for us is 51%, so the clerk's office had verified 56%. Some of the, I know you'd said there were some questions with the signatures, but the board was aware that a greater percentage
Okay,
had, signed in the affirmative that they'd like to proceed with the project.
Good. I also read through resolution number 2, and it stated in there that the cost could increase if the soils were found contaminated. We, in our proposal, already accounted for contaminated soils, so it could not increase. And the soil samples already came back from the lab, and they were deemed not contaminated. So if anything, the price is gonna come down. It's not gonna increase.
Good
Everyone's
news.
worried about that.
All right.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Is there any other public comment at this time? Seeing none, we'd be looking for a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Support.
Got a motion by Mr. York with support by Mr. Switkowski to close the public hearing at, 7:37. Any discussion, board members?
I guess I wanted to say, it's sort of nice to have an SAD where there's not since I've been on the board, this is my 9th year, there's always opposition to an SAD. So it's nice that it's all come together in a nice, easy package for us.
Any other board comment? Hearing none and seeing no public comment, Mr. Witt, will you please take a roll call vote?
Yes, Mr. York,
Yes.
Mr. Switkowski.
Yes.
Mr. Brado,
Yes.
Mr. Caprell,
Yes.
Mr. Tominelli.
Yes.
Mr. Witt, yes. Mr. Verkest.
Yes. All right. All right.
Public hearing's closed.
Public hearing is closed.
The next item is resolution number 3. Resolution number 3, the purpose of that is to direct me to prepare the role for that and to set the public hearing for the project. And we'll be looking at our next meeting, which is June 24th.
Make a motion to approve resolution number 3. Support.
All right, we've got a motion by Mr. York with support by Mr. Tominello to adopt resolution number 3. Discussion, board members? Hearing none and seeing no public comment, Mr. Witt, will you please take a roll call vote?
Yes, Mr. York,
Yes.
Mr. Tominello,
Yes.
Mr. Brado,
Yes.
Mr. Caprell,
Yes.
Mr. Switkowski.
Yes.
Mr. Witt, yes. Mr. Verkest.
Yes.
Resolution is adopted. The next item is resolution number 4, which directs me to notice the individuals in the special assessment district that the role is available for review in the office, and to inform them of the public hearing so that they can make any objections to said special assessment.
All right.
Make a motion to adopt resolution number 4.
Support.
Okay, we've got a motion by Mr. York with support by Mr. Switkowski to adopt resolution number 4. And that would also set the date for the public hearing as well. Second public hearing, yep.
Yep.
All right. Discussion, board members? Hearing none and seeing no public comment, Mr. Witt, will you please take the roll call vote?
Yes, Mr. York,
Yes.
Mr. Switkowski. Yes. Mr. Brado,
Yes.
Mr. Caprell,
Yes.
Mr. Tominello.
Yes.
Mr. Witt, yes. Mr. Verkest.
Yes.
Resolution is adopted.
Excellent. Well, good luck to the folks in that subdivision to fix up and improve the value of their property. Thank you. Next on our agenda is item D from the clerk's office regarding principles of government. Mr. Witt?
Yes, board members, we received this from the Michigan Township Association, and a request that we consider adopting principles of governance that serves as guidance for us, and states that we embrace these principles and ideas towards good governance. And I read the resolution at this time. To maintain the highest standards and traditions of Michigan townships, we embrace these principles to guide our stewardship, deliberations, and constituent services as we commit to safeguard our community's health, safety, and general welfare. We pledge to insist on the highest standards of ethical conduct by all who act on behalf of this township, bring credit, honor, and dignity to our public offices through collegial board deliberations and diligent, appropriate responses to constituent concerns, actively pursue education and knowledge, and embrace best practices, treat all persons with dignity, respect, and impartiality without prejudice or discrimination, practice openness and transparency in our decisions and actions, cooperate in all reasonable ways with other governmental entities, and consider the impact of our decisions that may have on outside our township borders, communicate to the public township issues, challenges, and successes, and welcome the active involvement of stakeholders to further the township's well-being, strive for compliance with all state and federal statutory requirements, refuse to participate in any decisions or activities for personal gain at the expense of the best interests of the township, further the understanding of the obligations and responsibilities of American citizenship, democratic government, and freedom. These principles we pledge to our township, our state, and our country.
I think we should, after we adopt this, I think we should sign it and put it for all the public to see. Have
Yeah,
a
and
nice
that-
clean copy in
I-
both buildings.
Thought we had there's a nice
I
color
figured
one that
that.
we can, I'll have everyone sign and then we'll frame it and put it up.
I make a motion to adopt the Townships Association Principles of Governance.
Support.
All right, we've got a motion by Mr. York with support by Mr. Witt to adopt, by resolution, I understood,
Yeah.
the principles of governance from the Macomb Townships Association. Any discussion, board members? Hearing none and seeing no public comment, Mr. Witt, will you please take a roll call?
Yes, Mr. York,
Yes.
Mr. Witt, yes, Mr. Brado,
Yes.
Mr. Capral,
Yes.
Mr. Swakowski.
Yes.
Mr. Tominello.
Yes.
Mr. Verkest.
Yes.
Resolution is adopted.
All right. Last part of our agenda is public comments. It appears that the primary group of folks who are here were regarding specific agenda items, and so it doesn't appear that there's anyone available for public comment.
Oh, wait, I think someone's coming off the on deck chair. No?
Sing a song?
Are there any board comments?
Just one thing I wanted to mention, with the expansion of the passport program that we have at the township offering pictures, year-to-date, we've done 141 passports. The highest we've
Wow.
ever done in a year is 76. So that's brought in over $3,500 to cover our cost of doing that and to help support the township. We've also done 76 pictures, and that's covered the cost of our equipment already. And we've only been doing it for really about 5 months. So again, if anybody would like to, apply for a passport or a passport renewal, we'd be happy to help you at the clerk's office. We're open from 8, and then we'll start processing passports until 4 o'clock. So anyone in our office would be happy to help you.
So at this point, the equipment's paid for, so it's all profit.
It's all profit.
Boy, if we hadn't adopted that governance set of rules, I'd have suggested we go on a junket or something, but I guess.
Do I?
Yeah, something, who knows? All right, any other board comments?
I did have one more comment. I failed to recognize one more person for the fishing derby who, without, I wouldn't have had the fishing derby. And my wife Nancy, I'd like to thank her for all her help.
boy.
Thanks.
Better late than never. Yep, I'll probably have to thank her for a lot of things. She's pretty active in helping out in lots of stuff, so we're happy to have her as a resident, even more than you.
Thanks.
If there's no other comments, I'd be looking for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Support. Got a motion that's been supported to adjourn at 7:44. Discussion, board members? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? Motion carries. Meeting adjourned.
Your dinner's already in the back.
Thanks, Rob.
She never watches, so.